I'm just so inspired today, and I want to share this feeling of joy with you all of being at peace with this idea that art can be the craft of life. It's not the only way of doing art, of course, but it's one approach to life. And I think there's so much potential in it. There's potential for um, loving kindness and compassion to be generated. These practices that I've been doing, these talks, and I'm starting to try and organize conversations and also meditations for art as wellness. And essentially, I've been making some artwork for exhibition again, and it feels really good to be making the work and uh, the actual I don't know what to say. When I'm actually painting, when I'm painting, it feels good to do. It's just a matter of finding the right balance, I think, where um, that kind of engagement um, also comes out in the other modes or registers of doing art for me. And this is for me. But I share this because I think there's potential basically to share it as something that has helped me a great deal. And, I look forward to talking with other people about what art is now at the end of 2018, going into 2019. What could it be? What might it become? What really is going on in art? All kinds of art. It's really kind of a bigger sense than just craft or fine art or applied arts or graphic arts. There's a sense to, or just a sense of art, and how it's it's an approachable, digestible, usable, functional approach to what art can be. And it's also staying with the idea that if you're interested in truth, you you should be comfortable with uncertainty. And that's the same here, that in my work that I've been doing, I've written a book about this idea of art being the craft of life, um, and then I'm doing the meditations, and I'm also doing some conventional practice. Some of that I think is in a sense of fellowship, because I want to try and continue to be able to relate to folks who are making conventional work and are making art for exhibition, because I think this should be inclusive and is inclusive. And when I say this, I just mean this idea. It already is inclusive. It's for everyone, it's for everyone. Um, but it might not everyone might be interested in it, in other words. And that's fine. But so I did a painting recently. I did some prints. Um, how I'll share those. I shared some on Instagram. Maybe someday I'll have an exhibition. I don't know. But the point is that you can have the exhibition and you can have this relating to life as art. And there's, the work that I continue to do is about, looking at how can you really instill in your life a sense of artfulness, and why is that important, or how can that help you? And for me, it has been astronomically impactful to have what feels like a calling, and from the universe, basically. I don't know how else to say that, but just a calling to be an artist. Um, and and beyond that, I have just felt so uh, at ease and at peace in my soul doing meditations, doing artwork, doing these talks, playing music, and talking with other people. And there's somewhere in there, in that coalescence, is where I just see a lot of potential and goodness. And it doesn't have to be about where the Western canon of art history is going to go. I did have an interest in that. I did have an interest in trying to take the conversation forward, and through a kind of Hegelian way of just meaning that there's like a through spirit to the development of art. And I come from the Western tradition, so I've just used that as a starting point. But I saw how there could be an intersection now between the Western canon as it's developed and all art globally, and just the concept of art. And that's why I'm working with this idea of art. It's very inclusive, includes all people and everywhere. And it's really about love in a lot of ways. It's about love and understanding. It's about listening to yourself, to the world around you, to each other, and really taking time to be at peace with yourself and to go within and to allow for changes to take place. It doesn't mean you lose yourself. You may shed ego, but you don't lose the self. And you still are someone who can really be generative in this world and have an impact, and also just live a life and just be. And it's that combination that art as awareness is kind of just this sense of coming to be at peace with yourself, just the way you are, complete acceptance of who you are and how you are and what you do, and learning always to be a better person, but also accepting yourself and being gentle with yourself and loving yourself. And that is an impulse to then help others in a huge sense. And I've learned that from lots of wisdom traditions, from growing up to just Buddhist readings recently, and a lot of different places in just life itself, of learning how you can impact the world positively. And that's a lot what this has to do about art being life, crafting yourself, personhood, character building, developing as a person, being the best you can, being the best you, being the best version of yourself, and then just letting it all go and letting it be and letting yourself be and accepting yourself as you are and not being too stressed or strainful on yourself or others, or the world in general. It's about coming to peace, coming to terms with yourself, and just loving who you are. And, I see the combination now of exhibitions going on and different formats and modalities of sharing, art that's meant to be exhibited. But there's so much beyond that, though. And that's where I want to continue to explore and make sure that there's an inclusive sense here, an inclusive feel of how art as life really can touch everyone. And it's up to individual people if they feel inspired to follow that call of really the love and the power of art in our lives. And that will take many different shapes for many different people. And I'm sure, though I wrote an essay called "The Exhibition is Dead," I'm sure it can come back again. And of course, exhibitions could go on, ad infinitum, indefinitely, just as anything. Everything is open. It's an open field of possibilities. But in the same sense, I had to write that essay to go through a certain kind of mindset or way of thinking to kind of make a breakthrough and really start to accept myself as I am rather than only a thing on a wall. And, it's that combination of combining people who don't think that they're artists along with people who are artists that are only making conventional artwork, and trying to find connections where we can all kind of just relate to one another artfully and through this idea of art, which again is basically just love and understanding and positivity. So I hope this message finds you well, and I hope you have an awesome day today. Thank you. Take care.